This is the video for the Try It section of Lesson 20, Advanced User Forms. In this lesson, you build a user form to browse the internet and have this user form have the basic functionality of a web browser, including the ability to navigate to the websites of your choice, going backward and forward to websites, and to set the initial website when the user form is initiated to be whatever website you want it to be. You'll do that in code, and that will mimic pretty much the effect that you have perhaps on your web browser with your home page. There's going to be nothing that we do on any worksheets in this lesson. We're going to go right into the Visual Basic Editor, which you can do from any version of Excel by pressing the Alt F11 keys or clicking the Developer tab on the ribbon and the Visual Basic icon. You're going to be inserting a user form, so from the VBE menu bar, click Insert, User Form. And I have purposely encroached over here to hide most of the VBA project window and the properties window, because the dimensions that I want to have for this user form need to fit inside of here as much as possible. I want to use as much of this space as possible for purposes of the video. And the height and width properties you're going to see me set this user form at are going to be different than the ones you will be reading about in the book. But go ahead and use the ones in the book. They should work for you. I had a height property in the book for 540 and a width of 852. If that works for you, so much the better. If it doesn't, then just go ahead and size the user form that you'll be working with to whichever size works for you. For this video, I am going to be sizing the height, and I'm going to sneak in here at the height property. I'm going to be having a height of 492. And I'm going to be having a width property, when I scroll down here to get to it, of 630. That'll take me to the edge of this window here. And now I'm going to click on the user form, and I'm going to also click this toolbox button because we're going to be drawing a few controls on the user form. The first control I'm going to put on here is a text box control, and I'm simply going to draw one like that, and this is where you will be entering in the website that you will want to go to as you are going to be navigating the web on this user form browser that we're building. There's going to be no code associated with this text box. I'm going to leave the name of this text box as its default text box 1, and then move on to adding 4 command buttons here. I'm going to place one right here, and then to make things quick, I'm going to right click on the edge of this command button, left click on copy, and then I'm going to right click elsewhere on the user form, click paste. I'm going to do this 3 times. Paste and paste. I'm going to make this one a little less wide, a little narrower, because it's going to be our exit button. And there are 4 buttons here that we've just placed on the user form. This first one I'm going to change the caption of to navigate, and I am going to have its name be, and you won't be able to see me type this in very well, but that's because I need all of this real estate over here, so I encroached into the properties window. I'm going to call it CMD Navigate. This button here will be the user form's back button, and not too surprisingly, I'm going to call this button CMD Back. This button here will be our forward button, and I'm going to set its name as CMD Forward. And over here is the tried and true exit button. No user form should be without one, and I'm going to name it CMD Exit. Okay. Now I'm going to do something special with this navigate button here. I'm going to make it the default button so that when you press the enter key, this button here, this navigate button, will be the one whose code executes. And to do that, I'm going to find I have the navigate button selected. I'm going to find the default property, click the down arrow to it, and select true. You're going to see especially why that comes in handy when we test this user form. Now, the star of the show for this user form is going to be a control that I have not covered in the book yet, and which is not a control that you find every day. That's why it's not on this controls tab of the toolbox. You need to put it on there yourself. It's a web browser control, and to find it and a lot of other controls that you have access to, what you do is you see this empty area here in the controls tab. I'm going to right click here and then select additional controls. That's the only one that I could select, but that's what you do. And this additional controls dialog box comes up with all of these controls that most of which you will never use, but some you will, including one in this case like web browser, and they go in alphabetical order, so I'm going to safely and confidently keep scrolling down until I find Microsoft web browser right here that I'm going to select and click OK. When I do that, it's going to put the web browser icon onto this controls tab of the toolbox. So, just as if the web browser control were any other control, which it pretty much is, all you need to do is select it, and then I'm pressing down on the left mouse button here to drag and draw my web browser control. And you will see, and this is normal, this highly pixelated flying windows icon that is what you see when you place a web browser control on a user form, and that's just the way that is. So we now get to the coding aspect of this lesson in the user form module, and you'll find that there is a surprisingly small amount of code that goes with this lesson to have it be as robust as it is. I'm going to double click here somewhere on the user form itself, and here is this user form click event that is showing by default when you double click an area of the user form until you place an initialize event in the module, which I just did now. And now I'm going to delete this user form click event that won't do us any good and rarely does. The code that you're going to put into the user form module for the initialization, the initialize event, is very simple. It's a one-liner, and I did not change the name of the web browser. It's called Web Browser 1. That's the default, and that's fine with me. Web Browser 1 dot navigate is what you want the web browser to do. Navigate is a method of the Web Browser 1 control, and I'm going to hit the space bar, and you simply type in the full address of where you want what website you want to see when you first call the user form. So it's http://www. which you've seen a million times in your life already, I'm sure. And because this book is being published by Rox, that's WROX, I'm going to put their website on here, and why not give a little plug. And there it is, wrox.com, and you complete that statement with the double quote here, and there is the website that this user form web browser will go to when the user form is called. So that takes care of that, and now all you need to do is, and I'm going to go back to the user form for a second here in the design area, there are 4 buttons that you need to code for. I'm going to get the easiest one out of the way first. That's the exit button. I'm going to simply double click it here, and it defaults in the VBA's VBE module here for the user form for the click event, and a very simple line of code that you probably already have memorized is unload me, and that is what the exit button is all about. So I'm going to arrow down here a little bit and come on up here to the object field and the drop down list. I need to code 3 more buttons, and one of them is the navigate button. For the navigate button, what I'm going to do is add a little bit of convenience for the user. here's what we are going to do. I'm going to say web browser 1 dot navigate. That's going to be the same as what you saw in the initialize event. But take a look at this. I'm going to hit the space bar, and I'm supposed to enter in some reference to what the website is going to be. Now, it's going to be what you enter into the text box. But you see here what I did is, and I needed to do this, here's this hypertext transit protocol and the colon and slashes, World Wide Web abbreviations that are obligatory. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to select it and hit Control C. And to navigate the to the website that I want, I'm going to put this into quotes, and then I'm going to press the spacebar character and the ampersand character and the spacebar character again and say textbox1.text. So what this does is save you and me a lot of work, because now if you want to go to some website like Google or Twitter or wherever you want to go, then all you need to do is to type the website google.com into the text box without having you type all of this stuff in there first with every single website you want to go to. And that's why I did this that way. So the navigate button is completed, and now all that leaves is for the back and forward buttons. We'll take care of the back button here, and the web browser is called web browser 1. And it has several methods, as you might imagine, and one of them is called go back. It's as simple as that. Now, to slightly complicate things, now that I just said it's simple, this is a simple line of code. But the problem is, let's just say that you or someone clicks the back button when you first load the user form. Well, there's no website to go back to. The website you're seeing, which will be this one here, the rocks.com website, in this case, will be the only website that will have been shown so far. So you're going to get a runtime error if you click the back button, and that's why I'm going to place an on error resume next statement in here, and then an err.clear statement to clear the error object if one is raised, if there is an error, if the back button is clicked before a website will have already been back to go to. And the same kind of syntax is going to be applied to the forward button. I am going to actually copy this entire piece of code here for the back button because it's so similar to the forward button. I'm going to hit Control V here, and instead of go back, this is going to be go forward. And there is all the code that there is to this project. It's amazing that the user form will have as much functionality as a web browser as it does. I'm going to press the Alt-Q keys. Actually, before I do that, come to think of it, I'm going to click an Insert Module item here because I'm going to want to call the user form. So I'm going to say call browser. And I never changed the name of the user form either. I'm going to call it userform1, which is what VBA called it, .show. And there is our macro to show the user form. Now I'm going to press Alt-Q, come back to the worksheets, and press the Alt F8 keys or this macros icon in the developer tab, and show the macro dialog with the call browser macro that we just created to call this user form. And here it is, and here is the WROX, the Rocks website that we have established as our de facto home page. Here's the navigate button and the back, forward, and exit buttons just as we have coded them. You'll notice, take a close look here, the navigate button has this darker border around it, and that'll indicate to you that that is the default button. You'll see that these other command buttons don't have that. So let's say I want to go to google.com. I'll type in google.com, and I can either click this command button or I can press the enter key. One thing I definitely don't have to do, thankfully, is that http://www.precedent set of characters, all I need to do is click the navigate button now, and there's Google. And if I type in twitter.com, and now I'm going to hit the enter key to take advantage of the default nature property of the navigate button. There is Twitter, and it doesn't show all in here because of the size that we were limited to for this user form, but you get the idea. Now I'm going to click the back button, and that will take us to Google because that was how we coded it. And I'm going to click the back button again. That'll take us to the Rocks site, as you see, and then click forward. And as now you can tell, this is a web browser that you built on your own, that all you need to do is enter whatever website you want to and navigate the web that way. And when you're done, click the exit button to close the user form.